Good afternoon, everyone, and I want to thank you and welcome each of the leaders for Greystar. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes. We are very excited to have all of you with us on this virtual Lunch and Learn. And I hope that everybody got to use our small token of appreciation with that gift card, and everybody hopefully is having a little lunch on us. So the partnership with Greystar is super important to us. We are very excited again, and we're just going to wait a couple more minutes to get everybody in, and we will start. Again, welcome, and we're very excited to have you here. Okay, a couple of things, housekeeping notes. I think that if you just can please make sure that all of you are muted, that will be great. We want to make this session as interactive as possible. At the same time, in the event that if you want to ask any questions, feel free. There are two ways. Obviously, you can just let me know, unmute yourself and let me know, and I will be more than glad to answer that question right away. We have several good topics that we're going to be covering, but another option too is if you look at the bottom of your screen, that little Q&A icon there, that is another way to also be asking us questions. So we want to make sure that we're adding value to this, and I want to make sure that we cover that. I think that we have a full team now, so thank you. We want to be respectful of your time as well. So with that being said, Dino, you want to go ahead and give us a little introduction, and then I'll take it from there?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I just wanted to thank everyone. I hope you're all doing safe and doing as best you can during this horrific event. I just wanted to come on and say hello. JJ is going to run with the show today, but our relationship with Greystar means the world to us. You know, we're fortunate enough to do work with Greystar in several of our markets. And in Atlanta specifically, I can remember meeting many of you and the time spent together. And gosh, I wish we could have lunch face to face today, or at least in the same room. But I love the idea that JJ came up with, and to be able to share this lunchtime together. So I just wanted to come on and say thank you. We're here for you. If you need anything, we're available in any way that you can imagine. So we also, tomorrow, we do town hall as well, where we have other vendors who can potentially answer questions that you may have. We bring a lawyer, we have several, we have a pool person that's on there that can answer all sorts of questions. So again, just trying to add value. But as far as today goes, enjoy your lunch. Thank you so much for all that you do. You're in for a treat with JJ today. He does a very good job at doing these presentations. So stay well, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing all of you in person when we're able to do that. So JJ, unfortunately I have to leave you, but I'm going to just say goodbye to everyone and have a great lunch and have a great session here. Thank you, JJ.
Thank you, Dino. I appreciate it. I know you have a busy agenda for everyone. So Dino is our Chief Revenue Officer. So all business development efforts are channeled through him. So I appreciate it, Dino. I know that you have a lot on your plate, and it means a lot that you were able to join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty. So Vidi, let's go to the next slide then, please. So quick introduction about myself. Again, my name is Juan Jose Chavez. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Operations for plant companies in the South region. I've been in the company for a little bit over 8 years. I started in the DC market, and 2 years ago, we moved out of DC to Atlanta to open the South division. We had no buildings whatsoever here about 2 years ago, and now we have 22 buildings and growing. And it's something that has been very rewarding experience. Before Plan, something interesting, I was actually, some of you are familiar with the DC market or still in the industry. I was actually a regional manager for Arlington Apartments, and I did that for about 5 years in the Arlington area. And before that, I was in the hospitality industry for 10 years with Marriott International. And if all of you, for those seasoned leaders that have been in the industry, back in the day, there was a switch of focus in the property management industry that they were trying to get hospitality leaders into the industry and really switch the perspective as we started to work on resident experience and customer service and how to be offer consistent service in these beautiful apartment communities. So when I made my switch, it was a very rewarding experience. It was a time for get used to a little bit, right? Because you're coming from working for these really nice hotels, and sometimes you get a property that is not as nice. But I think that we were very successful in trying to switch that mindset that it's still, no matter how much you're paying on rent, we as operators need to provide a great experience to those residents. So I miss it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Miss it a little bit. Maybe not the renewal time and all the residents drama and all that, but it's definitely, as an industry, I am very excited to still be part of it. And now on the contracting side, to actually offer a little bit more value to our customers. We are continuing to grow, like I said, and the Carolinas, Florida is a market that we're looking into it. And as a company, we never want to just get buildings to get buildings. We want to make sure that whatever building we start services with is a building that we're able to provide the supervision and the support of the team. So that's how our growth in this area has been, and we are very excited about it. All righty, Vinny, let's go. Okay, so we have basically 5 main topics. And again, I appreciate you filling out the little survey that we sent out last week. We wanted to make sure that this is relevant and applicable to your roles. The first agenda topic is basically we want to make sure that we talk really quick about us a little bit more about plant companies. Obviously, we're going to be talking about how do we enhance communication, how do we add value, and the big elephant in the room, of course, is the pandemic going on right now regarding COVID-19 and how that had affected the janitorial industry overall and what plant companies is doing to really provide that service and position ourselves above the other service providers in this market. Lastly, we're going to be talking about the consolidation of services and its benefits. So that's the agenda. We should be promise you that hopefully by 1:15, 1:10, hopefully, we'll be done with this. In the event, again, if you have any questions or something, just please let me know. There's a QA or just feel free to interrupt me and go from there. Thank you. All right, next one, please. So let's talk a little bit about us really quick, right? So it is very important for us on the high level to align with organizations that have similar visions, and core values. So for us, our mission is that we see ourselves as an accountable and as a responsive customer service organization. We don't look at ourselves as a cleaning company or as a security company or as a front desk company. When we look at a plan, and we have been in business for over 100 years, we have always looked at ourselves as a customer service organization that just happens to provide janitorial, maintenance, concierge, front desk services, right? That's our mission. We want to be passionate about it, we want to be accountable, and we want to be responsive. And I'm pretty confident to say that by the end of this presentation, you will be able to see that accountability, that responsiveness that we can offer to our customers. Our vision, we definitely want to be the industry leader when it comes down to enhancing the quality of life. So of your residents, right? So this is something, one of my favorite parts. So every time that we hire somebody within our organization, it doesn't matter if it's a janitor, if it's a front desk clerk, or if it's operations manager. We spend time to go over our vision and to make them understand that they're in a great position to affect the life of the residents in their buildings. The tricky part, though, is that that effect on the residents could be positive or it could be negative. Obviously, we want them to affect their lives or your residents in a positive way. But I think that also talking about how things could go wrong, how can that affect the residents' life? So I think that taking that extra effort is what it makes difference for us when we deploy somebody into a building or when we assign a janitor or a front desk clerk or a security person into a building. They know how important their services are. It's not just because I'm going to clean the bathroom. It's going to be because I'm going to clean the bathroom because the resident that lives in this building or their visitor or the manager that lives in this building deserves to, when they walk into this bathroom, to be perfectly clean. Or when they walk into a lobby, they're going to find a smiley face that looks professional and polished. Those are the things that, taking the extra time and sharing the mission and vision, I think that it makes a lot of sense and makes the difference. Basically have 4 corporate values: integrity, teamwork, exceptional customer service, and we never want to be complacent. And when we're talking a little bit about our technology solutions and what we can offer, I think that you will be able to see those 4 core values reflected on everything that we do. Integrity is super important for us. Teamwork, obviously, and exceptional customer service. Again, we are a customer service organization. And I think that those 3 things, there are a lot of similarities within Greystar. And it doesn't matter if it's an asset owned, it doesn't matter if it's a fee managed, you still strive to offer the same level of service because we all know this is a very competitive submarket in Atlanta, and there are several other companies out there where a prospect, if I'm looking for an apartment to lease, I'm probably going to visit 2 or 3 different management company buildings. And that experience during that process, actually, we all know that that matters. Next slide, please, Annie. All righty, so what states we service? So right now we are over in 12 states, so you can see in the map there, mostly on the East Coast. We have been in business again for over 100 years. We started in the Northeast, New Jersey market. We have expanded now into Massachusetts, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, DC, Virginia, Georgia, and the Carolinas. Very soon we will be in Florida. And then we have a lot of white space there, and then we get to California. And a little bit, the reason why we are in California is because of our reputation. We had a big customer there, and that's how we started in California about 5 years ago. And we said no 3 times, and then at the 4th time, we were in a position that we had to go ahead and service them. So that was our first customer there. And now it grew up from 1 big building. We have over 90 buildings now, on which of those, about 20 of those buildings that we service are under the Greystar organization in California. So we're doing a lot of business there, and we will obviously, we would love to increase our presence here. That is in terms of where we are located right now. In terms of verticals, there are basically 4 things that we offer, and 4 things only. The janitorial, the concierge, the courtesy patrol, and the maintenance. We are not a staffing agency. So we're not the type of company that we will get a call and say, can you send me a janitor for 2 days this week and then go from there. That's not really our business model. What we believe in is we believe in long-standing relationships where we're able to offer scheduled hours, constantly hours, on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. And that's what we do. So it's very important for us to make that clarification. Nationwide, we have over 4,300 associates now. Like I was mentioning to you, in Atlanta, we have a little bit over 20 buildings. And here in Atlanta, we do some of your buildings, Greystar buildings as well. We have relationships with Pinnacle Living and Bell Partners. The apartment vertical is not the only vertical where we are in. We're also on the condominiums, high-rise buildings, and we service most of the premier addresses on the condo world as well. But in terms of apartments here in Atlanta, apartment management companies, those are the 3 main organizations that we service. Next one, please. Okay, so I hope that that gives a little bit overview of who we are, and let's get into how do we enhance communication. So it's very important, I think, nowadays to really, as a regional portfolio manager, to really align with organizations or with individuals that at the end of the day can make your job easier. You're not into babysitting. You should not be doing the one worrying about is this person going to show up or not showing up. My property manager needs to pick up their slack of work or something like that. And I think that it all starts with communication. So the first part that we always do is that we will meet with the regional you or a property manager, and we will go over what is the expectation, how is the communication in each of the buildings as it relates to the services that we provide. And from there, we will put together a tailored program that will really make sure that we are hitting the nail right on the head in terms of that. One thing that we understand is that not each property is the same. Every property is different. Every manager is different. Even the management style of each of your leaders are different. Or maybe your style between RPMs are different from each other. So that is something that we take into consideration, and then we go from there. So perhaps what we are doing at Ascend Midtown is not the same in terms of communication than what we're doing at Atlanta Alcyon, for example. And those are two of the assets that we do with Greystar. A lot of things we do similar, a lot of things we might do a little bit different depending on that communication style between the leaders. Another thing that is important is that, hopefully, even if we're not servicing you right now, you're getting that local leadership structure where your organization or your service provider is not only who cleans your building, but it's also who supervises that staff, who's doing weekly inspections, who's doing anything regarding accounting, who's doing anything regarding contracts and all that. With us, in our case, what we offer is basically a one point of contact where everything will go through in the South region through me, and we are the one point contact that we are able to answer all the questions and provide that personalized service. In other words, in terms of weekly visits, in terms of communicating somebody's going to be late or early, or somebody new is going to go into the property to begin training, all those things, every time that there is an event that requires communication, it will come through the local leader in that market. I think that that is really, really important as well, because again, you have a lot on your plate. The last thing that you need to do is be waiting on a response from your service provider. We believe in weekly site visits, and these are site visits where we will go and check on the building and complete inspection reports if needed. The cadence of the inspection report is something that we tailor to each community. Some managers would like to have an inspection report on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. It really depends. But during these weekly visits, this is not us going into the office manager or the property manager office and say, hey, I'm here, do you need me? No? Perfect, and leave. That's not the case. Our site visits, weekly site visits are going into the building, checking with our staff, walk the building, notice any trends, and then checking with the property manager, say, hey, Joseph, why? I was here, this is what I noticed, we're working on this, do you have anything else for me? In some cases, to go back to the communication piece, in some cases, those meetings are already scheduled in advance with the property manager. In some buildings, the property manager refers to the maintenance manager or the service director. In some buildings, we know that we can just stop by and the manager will just check in with us and then go from there. The inspection reports are a great tool for you to understand what's going on with your building in terms of the services that we provide. This is not an inspection report that will show that everything is clean. This is an inspection report that will show this is clean, this needs attention, this is what we are doing to rectify that situation. And we put, again, those in a cadence that we agree on from the beginning, and our customers are loving those. They come via email on a PDF file and go on from there. Again, always under the enhancing communication umbrella. The other one that we have, and this is really cool technology, and I will be able to show you that in a little bit during this presentation, is what we have called, it's a proprietary software that we call Plan Tour System. And this is basically the installation of small QR codes around the community. So for some of the verticals, if we have to do walks on the courtesy patrol side, or if the concierge needs to do walks around the building, they're able to scan these QR codes, and that will create a report that is going to be visible to you or the property manager that really guarantees that we are paying attention to all those areas, that we're walking into the areas, or that we're cleaning into the areas, that we're disinfecting, that we're vacuuming, and all that. And this is a new technology that customers are just loving it, because it really takes the guessing out of it. Do we clean that area? Do we walk that area? We're supposed to do 4 walks a night. Are we doing those 4 walks a night? And again, this is more into the communication, accountability, responsiveness that we have promised during our mission and vision. The other one is PECS, that it stands for Plan Employee Communication System. And something that we have learned is that communication, whenever we're talking about communication, we're not only talking it from the customer to us. It's very important for us to be able to communicate with our internal customers or our associates. And this PECS system is a really cool technology. It's proprietary as well. And we're able to text or get in touch with every single associate that we can select at a moment, right? So this is, instead of, for example, once a week, I have an all-call with all the associates in Atlanta. It happens at noon, and these are actually the janitors, the front desk clerks, and all that. And for 15 minutes, I get them on a conference call using PECS, and we go over everything. Nowadays, most of the agenda that we cover is about COVID-19, but this is something that nobody else is doing. So the ability that we have to reach to every hourly associate has been tremendous as it relates to COVID-19. I can tell you almost 60 associates that we have in this market. Knock on wood, nobody has been infected with COVID-19. And part of it is because of our efforts on the training, on providing all the supplies, but also being able to communicate with them right away. And the last one, like I said, the weekly all associate conference call, I think that has been also, a great instrument for us to improve the internal communication. So I hope that touches a little bit on that communication piece. I know that was one of the answers that we received in the survey. If we can have next slide, please. Okay, so this is one of my favorite values, I think, or one of my favorite topics, and how do we add value? And perhaps it's because of my, previous experience in holding, like one of your positions, that I realized, gosh, I wish my contractor would have done this for me, or I wish that they were able to really step it up in something. And for us, it's really something that we look at every single day. And here in Atlanta, that I stress to everybody of our, in our team, how can we add something extra? How can we take the extra step to really have the customer appreciate everything that we do? And for example, if we use the case study of just Greystar, I can assure you that every contract or every relationship that we have is very important. We wouldn't have been able to grow where we are locally and also nationally if what we do is not right? I mean, we are where we are because we have done a good job at it. But it's also, another reason is because when we look into the Greystar relationship, it's something that we know that we need to go the extra mile. And we know that there is a partnership, that if we are in your building, we should be making the leasing team's effort easier and working together with the maintenance team. That is something that we always look at it. For example, from how we clean the leasing office. When do we clean it? Are we reporting any light outs when we are on the hallway, when we are vacuuming the hallways? If we see something that is broken, are we communicating that via work order, or are we letting them know? We should be the eyes and ears of your team on property. The leasing team, they should be worrying about leasing, the manager about leading that effort, and the maintenance director about really servicing the customers. But we play a very important role. Another thing that we also do is even provide recommendations because of our experience, because of perhaps doing similar buildings within the area is something that we always look at it and go from there. On the customized on-site technologies, it's something that we definitely try to do. Again, we don't think of every building to be the same, just like the next one. It doesn't matter even if it's across the street or next to each other. It's something that we take a look at each building as an individual, and from there, it start going from there. The industry updates, our ability to really talk with other management companies to really understand what they are doing, the ability for us to attend, great relationship with obviously the Atlanta Apartment Association that, I know that all of you are extremely involved in that. Same networking or industry trade organization on the condominium world. It's called Community Association Institute. We are actively participating on that. We're actively on BOMA as well. So I think that just having that wealth of resources is something that our customers are definitely enjoying and then going from there, right? A lot of times, yes, there's a lot of updates coming from your supervisor or your groups, but a lot of times also we believe that we can add value from the vendor to customer relationship. Next one, please, Nikki. All righty, so let's get a little bit more specific, right, of what we can do. The reality is that right now, I think that all of you attending this virtual lunch and learn, that I hope the food is good, by the way. What can we do for your buildings kind of just as to start or offer our services? And this is no obligation whatsoever. So these are 4 things that, I want to make sure that we're putting out there for you. We can do these. We can do all of them. We can do one of them or 2 or 3. If you say, hey, Juan Jose, go into that building, but can you do it discreetly? I don't want anybody to know that there's another company coming in or anything like that. Absolutely. Believe me, I have done that many times. Or just go in and talk with this person and make it happen. That's absolutely fine. So security assessment is something that it has been a tremendous value to our customers. And this is basically, we set up a time and I go into the building just as a prospect or just as a person, walking into the building and conduct an assessment on the security. I'll be looking at all entry points. I'll be looking at the control access system. I will even test if I can get some, private information from somebody that works in the building, visual recognition, walkthrough as well. So, and then we will provide a report to you that this is something that our customers are definitely taking advantage of it. They're looking for their CapEx projects, or even whenever they're considering, to upgrade the services or to switch service or to change the hours, all that, the security assessment could be the great first step to initiate that, very well thought process of change. On the staffing recommendations, even again, if we don't service the community, I can definitely provide some recommendations. Hey, maybe switch this person and offer like a later service on the janitorial or maybe on the front desk or the security or courtesy patrol company. Probably I will change the hours and this is why. So this is something, again, without no obligation. This is just because we already have a relationship with Greystar that we'll be honored to do. On the janitorial program, assessment, that is something, or analysis, that is something that also we can complete. Hey, right now I'm cleaning my building with 2 people. I think that I need 4 people, or I think I just need 1 person. What do you think? Do you think I'm paying too much? Should the janitorial company provide the equipment, or should they provide the supplies? Right now I'm providing that. Another question that comes across a lot of times is, I'm providing my paper products to the janitorial company. Do you think that I'm getting the best deal right now? This is what I'm paying for toilet paper. This is what I'm paying for paper towels. This is something that we can do an analysis for you and hopefully add some value and then go from there. If at the end of the day, we're able to secure the janitorial contract, I want to be very straightforward with you. That will be great, but that's not our main goal. Let's put it that way. I always believe that we need to add value first, and hopefully that will turn into a solid relationship and ongoing partnership. The concierge program analysis, even if you have a site that another concierge company or front desk company is providing you the service, same thing apply. We could do an analysis in a very discreet way or go there. If you're having some challenges with your current provider, feel free to let me know, and this will be, hey, I'm having this challenge. What do you think? Do you think that this is something that I will be having with you or not? And I can tell you, I have been very candid, and this is a very competitive market, and I don't want to put ourselves in a position to say, if we service your building, you're never going to have a challenge, because I think that if I do that, I will be very dishonest with all of you, right? But I think that the difference will be really, do you really care if there is a challenge to address it the right way and communicate properly? And I think that, I ask, or I, really challenge to all of you to really think about challenges with your current provider in that way, and then go from there. But if you have any challenges, please let me know, and I will be very honest and about those challenges as well. Next one, Nick, please. Okay, 102 is a quick check time here. All righty, COVID-19. Let's see if we can do this in 5 minutes or less. Okay. Listen, the big elephant in the room, right? COVID-19. I think that the industry itself has really changed. I've been directly involved in this industry for over 8 years. And back in the day, it was everything about green companies and green products and protect the environment and all that. And then COVID-19 now came in, and now it's all about disinfecting and killing virus and do whatever it takes, and personal protective equipment. I think that's something that we need to understand, at least from our organization, is that, first of all, disinfecting is not green. The process of killing bacteria or killing all the grime that is on surfaces, that is not green, okay? Fabuloso is not green, okay? So it's something that we need to understand, because I think that the right process to do, and I think that hopefully you're getting a lot of information for your janitorial provider, your current janitorial provider, but first of all, your current service provider should be providing you with specific protocols in what they have done to change the processes on how they clean your building. From what product they have changed and now they're using, hopefully they're using the right product, to what type of training they're using, as well as what are the processes to reopen any of the amenities that most of your buildings, I'm going to assume that either have amenities or those amenities are closed or getting ready to open. And I think that that is really the biggest challenge within our industry. Again, doing that mind shift from green to disinfecting and being able to train every single associate that works in the building and adjust the protocols. It's about people and it's about processes. And hopefully your janitorial provider is providing that. Something that we can provide here, Vin, if I can get control of the screen here, please. Let me just show you something. We want to make this a little interactive here. Let me know. Hopefully you're able to see the screen. So this is a document that we are using, and let me just make it a little bit smaller, that we're sharing with all our customers in terms of what we are doing to reopening the workplace, right? So this is a document that we're working with all our customers. So we take the multi-directional approach where we look at the staffing and we make sure that all the staffing has been trained. When we look at the supplies and the equipment and we make sure that all that is happening with us. And then we look into the specific areas of the building and what exactly we're gonna be doing to each of those areas. So this is something that this is the difference between having a company that is going, that is doing an okay job, and having maybe you or the manager having a challenge of, oh my goodness, are they doing this or are they doing that? Are my people, is my team gonna get infected, or is the residents are gonna get infected because they're not communicating, my current janitorial provider is not communicating anything. I think that those are the difference. On the front desk side, and I think that you can see this, we have actually updated the protocol. So this is a building that we do in New Jersey. It's called 9 on the Hudson. And this is a protocol book that we do, or SOPs that we do for every single building that we do on the concierge side. Hopefully your front desk provider is able to do this as well. And you can see we have actually updated everything that we're adding, the social distancing, checking the temperature of our associates and all that. So this is another example of how we as plant companies are addressing the COVID-19 pandemic, and hopefully your current provider is also doing that. So Nick, if we can go back to the presentation, please. Thank you. And let's see here. Perfect. Products, equipment, and training. Those are going to be the three main challenges that we are addressing, that we actually started addressing 8 weeks ago when all this started, right? So you have to make sure that your janitorial provider is using the right products. Again, they have to take into consideration the killing time of those products. And that is basically the amount of time that the product needs to be on the surface in order to be effective in killing the virus. Equipment is going to be the key. Are they using, for example, in the janitorial program, are they using HEPA vacuums with HEPA filters? Because you don't wanna agitate the particulars on the fiber on the hallways, and perhaps if there are any droplets there, you don't wanna send those back in the air. And obviously training, and again, this is something that we have spent about 8 hours in average with every associate on different training, from how to properly put the face mask, how to properly put the goggles, how about, the gloves, how to put the gloves, how to remove the gloves. These are things that the training are important, and actually we are extending that training program to include the leasing team, to include the management team. With Bell Partners, they love that because it is important. We already have a close relationship with those leaders, with those on-site leaders. So if we come here, if we go in and we are able to provide that training to them, it's something that they have found great value out of it. So again, to recap, processes matter, personnel matter, and protocols matter. So I hope that I was able to show you a little bit of exactly what we could be doing, what we are doing for some of your buildings. Next one, please. Okay, consolidation of services and its benefits. So like what I was telling you, and I think that Ascend Midtown is the prime example of how combining multiple vendors into only one could benefit. So the same level of detail that we have put in this presentation are some of the things that we have done. I hope that you can see that and really how do we add value and how do we enhance the operation from the guest experience, from the leasing experience, from the day-to-day experience. I think that they have definitely helped and improved. So it's something great. The one point of contact, obviously, it adds value as long as it's the right person to have in contact, right? And it's something that we feel very confident about it. Also, the ability to, assist and control the day-to-day operation. If we are able to really control that experience from the minute that somebody walks into a leasing office, being a prospect, to moving day, and make sure that those elevators are ready, to make sure that the pads that we usually put on the elevators are ready, to make sure that we touch up that apartment before the resident move in. There's a lot of touch points that we can affect in a positive way on that, as well as, of course, like I said, on the resident's experience. And, those processes, customization, it's great. To talk a little bit about that, Nick, let me have the control of the screen again. I want to show you a couple of things, how, aspects that we have. So, for example, one of the challenges that I always hear whenever we are trying to present our services is when I ask, well, what hours are the janitors here? And the manager sometimes tells me like, I don't know. I think that they're here either at 7 or at 8. So it's one of those things that, is it 7? Are they providing you with the hours that are contracted? Is it from 7 to 3:30? Or are they arriving at 7:30, and at 7:30 they're having coffee, and then by 8 they're going to start loading the cart, and by 8:30 they're going to start cleaning, right? Or are they leaving at 3 instead of 3:30? Or are they taking 2-hour lunch or something? So one of the things that we do with our buildings is that every associate that works with us needs to punch in. And if the associate doesn't punch in, once we load that schedule into our system, we will get an alert. And I want to show you here. Let me see if this is the one. So this is actually, hold on 2 seconds. That's the, I think this one. Okay, so this is the late alert that the operations manager and the VP will get when an associate have not checked in. And this is Maria Stella is actually a concierge associate. And this was from the 30th, from last Thursday. And by 3:16, if you can see it here, I got this alert because she's supposed to start at 3. She's a concierge associate and she works 3 to 11. Well, 3:16 came in, she didn't punch in. I get this alert that Maria is telling me Maria has not get there. Now, this is our goal is the following one. We should be the one informing your teams that somebody's running late. It shouldn't be the other way around. If that's the case, there's an issue in communication, and we just talk about communication. So in this particular case, now this is a little tricky one because she already knew, or she already told me earlier that she was going to be late. We communicated to the manager, but I still get the alert. And I just wanted to show you. Now, once the person has checked in or arrived, then I get the other one, that is what I was showing you, that this is the resolve checking alert, where she checked in at 3:18. So in some properties, I have that what is late set up in a different way. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, it could be 15 minutes. Obviously, here at the front desk, I have it for 16 minutes because there's always somebody waiting for that person, but we can adjust that. So again, I just wanted to show you the process of how we're holding our associates accountable. And the same thing will happen if they check out early. So if somebody checks out at 3:20 instead of 3:30, I will get the alert and then going from there. Our technology actually allows our associate to use their own cell phone to check in and check out, or if the customer is okay, we could use the phone system in the leasing office or in the office and then go from there. So I wanted to make sure that I show you that. And the other part that I wanted to show you really quick is actually as we relate to communication is this is one, actually, this is activity log, and this is for the front desk side. So our associates complete an activity log electronically, and it goes directly to the customer. And this was from this Sunday. And you can see basically, and this is the morning shift from 7 until 3. And you can see basically how our associates are documenting everything that happens during the shift. Communication is the key. But if you're not getting that on a timely basis, on a detailed basis, that's when things are going to start happening. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that. And it could be from Amazon came, to deliver packages in the locker, to 1506 came to retrieve their printed document. So every single thing that happens on the shift, we're able to document. And lastly, I wanted to show you one of the last, we talked a little bit about planned tours and the QR functionality that we have, or the QR technology. And let me just go ahead and put that one in. Let's see, just bear with me here 2 seconds. Let's see here. See, there's always something. Okay, let's see. Let's try this again, guys. Let's see. Bear with me 2 seconds here. Okay, there you are. Okay, hopefully you can see that now. And this is a daily security tour report for one of the Pinnacle Livings. And this is actually really close to a Land Madison yard that hopefully we're gonna start a partnership as well with Leah there. This is Station R Apartments, and this is on Moreland Avenue in the Randallstown area. And what we have done is we have installed about 64 QR codes, and each QR code, it has a location. So in this particular building, we have a courtesy patrol officer that conducts 4 walks from midnight until 4 a.m. And you can see here, every time that they scan it, and it looks like on this day, we started 23 minutes late, but we started scanning all the way, and you can see the time, the location that they scan it, and also you can see the coordinates. One of the cool things about the coordinates is the reason why we have that system like that is to avoid the associate to scan all the QR codes while they're sitting in a place, right? So you can see all these coordinates are different, and that allows to confirm to you that the associate is actually walking the building. And we can customize this report to X amount of number of walks, to the locations and all that, but this gives you, the customer, the visibility that you need to really make sure that we are doing those walks and keeping the building as safe as possible. We combine this report to the activity log that I just showed you, and also the person is able to provide incident reports, work orders, or anything like that, where we actually are able to take video or pictures, and that gets directly to the customer. So it's something that is a really cool technology, and it's something that our current customers here in Atlanta, are loving. So Nikki, if you can take control back, thank you. And let's see, I think that next one, Nick, please. Okay, so let's see. 120. I'm sorry about that. We just went over, 5 minutes more. I'm sorry, but I hope that you found this information applicable, relevant, and obviously, feel free. Nick, I don't know if we can unmute them, or if they can, let me know if there's any questions or something. I will be more than glad to try to ask them.
We'd like our participants to use the Q&A feature if they may.
Oh, Q&A. Okay. So
yep.
are they on mute? Is that what's going on?
They may not be able to unmute.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry about that, guys, but we'll wait a couple of minutes here for Q&A to see if we got any Q&A coming. So Dino at the beginning was mentioning the town hall webinars that we've been putting together on a weekly basis. And we have received about 200 registrants every week. They're finding the information very updated, and it's something that I would like to invite you. Things that they have asked us from there really quick. There's a big fancy word now going on in the janitorial industry about electrostatic spraying. Not sure if your current provider is providing that service to any of your properties, but it's something that, we'll be more than glad if you have any questions about that. Definitely, I could relate and provide some information about that. Yes, Courtney, absolutely. We can definitely send you a copy of that presentation. Obviously, if you can disseminate it, that would be great. Yeah. So let's see. Are we what are we doing to really make sure that our associates are not spreading the virus or anything? So first of all, like I said, none of our associates up to 9 a.m. Today has been diagnosed or they got the virus. Everybody in our buildings are using the gloves, the mask, and we are increasing the disinfecting of of frequently touched areas as well. So this is something that, I think it has definitely proved and is working out. But we're asking associates, have you been exposed to anybody with the virus? Do you have any fever or something like that? And based on that, we are taking action. For example, I do have several number of associates on a standby. So in the event that we need to pull somebody out of a building, we're still able to offer that service consistency. You shouldn't have to hear from your janitor or your janitorial provider saying, I'm sorry, I cannot clean your building because that person is sick. What we are doing in our end, that we have people ready to jump in the case that is. So that is a couple of the things that, they have shown. But again, I want to thank all of you for taking the time for this Monday lunch, virtual lunch and learn. I hope that, you had a good time. I hope that the food was good. And, it's amazing. This is the first time we're doing something like that. I could smell the food from all of you per se, but I don't know. Hopefully we'll get to a time again that we will be able to get all in the same room and break bread together and all that. I appreciate the partnership. I'm here to be a resource for you. Please let me know if there's anything we can help you with, and have a great week. Thank you very much.